Hey, you guys, welcome in. It is after sunset Sunday, and we have more retreat left to go. So, guys, if you have not been hanging out at the retreat, if you did not get the link, you didn't sign up, anything like that, send me an email. I will get you a link so you can come hang out. We are going to launch that retreat back. We're going to pick it back up at 11 p.m. my time, which is in 3 hours. So, we're going to pick it back up. Hang on. Go settle, please. Go take your bone and go settle, please. Go. Take it. Go on. Okay, he doesn't want it. I am sorry. Sorry for the interruption. We have the puppy dog back out here with us. And you guys will see him from time to time. And we are working on figuring out a location for puppy cam. So that is still coming. So we are going to hit that retreat back up in 3 hours. And it is going to run until 4 p.m. Mountain time. So that is 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. So we are going to run through tomorrow afternoon, late afternoon. I finally decided what time to end it. So that's what time we're going to end it. So I see I've got Dahlia in the chat. We've got Susan in the chat. Janet, welcome in. Oh, she said she was hoping to be at the retreat. And she hopes to be able to get to the sewing room tomorrow. I hope so. We've got Katie Crafts. We've got Joan. We've got Pat. Welcome in. We got Patricia. Welcome. Let's see. I think I'm just going to do handwork. I hear you. Yeah, the directional prints will get you. Hey, Donnell. Good to see you. And Dawn is here. Welcome. And we got Barbara. We've got Bob. Bob, it has been so fantastic getting to know you a little bit better. It's great. I'm so glad you've been able to come to a retreat. Thank you so much. Let's see. Who else do we have in the chat? We got Judy in the chat. Welcome back in, Judy. Let's see. Who else do we have? I'm just scrolling. I'm not reading all the comments, but I see I always enjoy Tammy's retreats. Thank you so much, Chris. I appreciate that. Nanette is here as well. Dawn says she enjoys them too. I love it. Thank you. James, welcome. So glad you were here. Let's see. Where else am I? Oh, my chat just jumped. Oh my gosh. Patricia says she's laying down, giving the dog some cuddle time they missed during the retreat, right? Hey, Rena, welcome into the chat. So good to see you again. And Susan is trying to get us started off with a super chat. So guys, the super chat raffle the tickets are coming out for October 13th. So any super chats that you put in, you are getting a ticket or raffle ticket for October 13th. So it's going to hang out for a little bit, but it's okay. It's okay. And Joan's going to catch us back at the retreat after breakfast. That's perfect. I know. Chris, she says, long time no see. I know. And Patricia is loving the retreat. I am too. You guys, it has been so fantastic. It's been a quiet retreat. It has been so incredibly quiet. I cannot tell you how many times I have lost count. How many times somebody has said, how many times I have said, you guys are so quiet. And I get the response, we're concentrating. So it has been crazy, but everybody's been getting a lot done. It's been amazing. So if you have not joined in the retreat yet and you want to, send me an email. I'll get you a link in and you can help carry us through the night and into tomorrow afternoon. Judy says she's going to be there again tomorrow after coffee. Coffee is how we say that one. Unless insomnia hits me, I hear ya. You are more than welcome to hit me back up if you hit insomnia. We are good with that. I will be going after I get the retreat going, I'm going to go to bed after about an hour, but I will be back up. You guys know me. I will be back up as soon as I possibly can. I am trying to still honor my body, let it get the rest it needs, but I got to show you guys some stuff, right? So this has got to be an after sunset Sunday where you guys actually enjoy it and you hang out. Oh, sorry about that. Didn't mean to start the music back up. Thankfully, it was just on the speaker, so you probably didn't blast you guys' ears. I'm hoping not. So for those of you who don't know, I am in my new studio space. So if you've been hanging out at the channel, you probably saw me here last Sunday, but I'm facing the opposite direction now. So that's something that has happened during this retreat. So if you weren't here, you missed it. So I've got shelves installed. I've not gotten everything in yet. So there is still stuff sitting over at the apartment. We are working on getting it moved over. It'll be over about the middle of June, I'm thinking. And there's Puppy walking past. He has no idea he's on candid camera, but that's okay. He doesn't need to smile. He's cute. So I've got my scrap bins. I've actually been pressing scraps. I've been cutting pieces. I have been organizing and moving this weekend. So you guys have been able to follow along for the ride, and I am so thankful for every last one of you. It has been amazing. Okay, so I kind of had an idea of what I might do tonight, and I've kind of decided that's what we're going to do. So what I'm going to do is I am going to pick up things and show you guys finished quilts that I have. Patricia is saying hi to you. Do you want to say hi to Patricia? Come say hi to Patricia. Okay, so that's what we get for saying hi. There we go. Mwah. Yeah, we get a hi, an ear rub, and a kiss. Okay. Okay, are you done? You're not done? Okay. Well, he'll be back in. You know he will. Thank you. Okay. So I am it is a garage, so there is a bit of an echo. Kind of sounds like I'm in a warehouse, and there's not much I can do about that. I have got to get the rest of my stuff in, and if you guys see my camera glitch, I am still working on troubleshooting exactly where that glitch is coming from. Thank you, Patricia. She says, pretty boy. Are you a pretty boy? He's wagging his tail. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys first 2 quilts that I have finished binding during this retreat. So I've told a few of you, I think I've told everybody, that I am going to be I'm going to be teaching 2 classes this summer. Is he getting acclimated to his new surroundings? He is trying to. Hi, Barry. Welcome in. Glad you are here. We got 3 guys in the chat tonight. Hey, Dora Lynn. Good to see you. And guys, if you have not signed up for the retreat and you did not get an email or you want to come hang out for tomorrow, again, the retreat starts in just under 3 hours. We're going to start it back up. And we're going to run it through 4 p.m. my time. If you need the retreat link, send me an email. Let me know that you didn't make it to the retreat yet. You didn't get an email because you didn't sign up, but you'd like to come hang out and join. I'd love to have you come join us. So even if I'm not here, there usually is somebody here. We had 2 people carry us through last night. I don't know who else carrying us through tonight. This is not normally a 2-night thing, so we'll work on that. But so I've got 2 quilts that I'm teaching this summer, and one I'm teaching this month. I'm teaching it locally at one of the local quilt groups, and this is the quilt that I'm teaching. This is the first quilt I'm teaching. I'll put it that way. This is the first quilt I'm teaching, and it's hard for me to hold the whole thing up. It is folded in quarters right now. So it is called Here's the Angle. I realize my microphone is in the way. Let me move it just a hair to make it a little bit easier for you guys to see. And no, all of my cables and cords are not exactly where they need to be. Any insomniacs can join us for the overnight. That's perfect. And Patricia says the more the merrier, right? I agree with you on that. I completely agree with you. Wholeheartedly agree with you on that. Let me move this the other way because my heater is in the way. We're still working on heat and air conditioning and exactly where I need everything. So that is still in progress. Okay. So here is the top corner of the quilt. This is called Here's the Angle. No, the September retreat is not full yet. I can fit up to 70 bodies in that building. So we got plenty of room. If you got more people that want to join the retreat in September, we got room. I'd love to have them hurry up and sign up. How are the numbers for the September retreat? We're sitting at 15 right now. 15 have paid a deposit or their whole retreat amount. That's what we're sitting with right now. And I need 30 to make it even. And then I would love to rock it out with 70. So this quilt, the border is all the colors from the squares. And I knew the ladies that I was going to be teaching this to. This is the top half. And this is the bottom half. Hey Mona, good to see you. So glad you're here. So this quilt, I decided to border it out with the pink, the blue, the purple, and the green. So the borders are all mitered. You can, if I can hold it up. The borders are all mitered. So you can kind of see there, they're all mitered like that. And the backing for this, you see a lot of black and white, right? So what better thing to use other than Cruella de Vil fabric? So this was one of my last purchases at Joann's before they closed. But no joke, it is Cruella de Vil fabric. So she's black and white, and she's got pops of color. So even though there's no red in the front of the quilt got backed and bound with Cruella de Vil fabric. So I've got some threads to bury on it. But this is my teaching quilt for May. So this is one of the 2 that I get to teach this year. I'm so excited to be able to teach this year. I've really been kind of working towards that goal of being able to get to go teach places and expand that, because I really do love teaching. I love teaching quilting and sewing and piecing. I find a lot of joy in it. So it's kind of important to me. All right, let me figure out where I'm gonna put it. All right. So that is one. That one's getting taught this month. Hey, Cynthia's in the chat. Welcome in. Glad you're here. All right, so this is the other one. I have taught this one on my channel, as I've taught that one as well. So that one was made with 2.5 and 3-inch squares. That's what that one was made with. And I'm teaching it with 5-inch squares instead. So it's going to be a quicker quilt. Not going to take as much sewing time, and it's going to be a faster finish, which is what the guild really was looking for. So I'm catering to the guild on that one. This one I am teaching in July. I don't remember how many students signed up, but it's not a big class. But this is the one that I am teaching coming up in July. I hope you guys can see it. This one is called Charmed to Meet You. Let's see. I gotta see the chat. Who are you teaching it to? That one, the black and white is going to a local quilt group. And then in July, I've been asked to teach at Quilt Wyoming, which is going to be up in Powell, Wyoming this year. Quilt Wyoming is kind of like Paducah. It's got classes. There's usually a little bit of a quilt show, and they usually have vendors. No, it is not a Jacob's Ladder, Delia. It is not. I mean, it's similar to a Jacob's Ladder, but the hourglass blocks are not actually hourglass blocks, but that's what breaks it up, and it's not a Jacob's Ladder. But it is fairly stunning. It comes out really nicely. And it is 100% aside from the background fabric, which is a white on white that I used. Everything else is scraps. Literally, I might have one scrap that was 5 inches square, and that's what I use. Janet says both of those are very pretty. Thank you. Thank you. Now this one I actually backed with blue floral, and I bound it with the blue floral as well. Let me get it close to you guys. There you go. There you go. And this one is quilted with a heart pattern. The other one is quilted with a pattern called popcorn. It doesn't really look like popcorn to me, but that's the name of the pattern. And so this one I'm teaching in July, and I will be hosting my live presentation. I have a live at some point while I'm up in Powell. So I'll be hosting it from there. So you guys will get to come along with me for the ride up to Powell, Wyoming, and get to see kind of what I'm doing. And I hope to take some pictures and videos and such and be able to share those with you too. But Quilt Wyoming is something that is every year here in Wyoming, and they move it from location to location. So this year It's in what would be considered Northwest Wyoming. That's what puts us up in Powell and Cody area. Next year, it's going to be in the Gillette area, which is Northeast Wyoming. And then the following year, it's going to be here in Casper. So 2028, it's going to be here in Casper. So it's not going to interfere with my 2028 September Casper retreat, the Siberian Wind Retreat. It's not going to interfere with that. But it will be here in Casper in 2028. So I do plan to have the retreats here in Casper every year. And this is kind of working towards that goal, allowing me to do a lot of that. So I have a couple of quilts on my design walls back here. This one down here is a Ricky Tim's Convergence Quilt Challenge that I participated in. And a lot of what I did at the time that I was doing that was trying to compete and trying to get quilts into quilt shows. So there's a lot of heartache that can go in if you are constantly trying to go into quilt shows. If you've never entered a quilt show, I invite you to enter, whether that is a state fair, a county fair, what have you, whether it is a local quilt guild hosting a show. I invite you, if you are able to enter, that you go ahead and enter. It's a very unique experience to have a quilt entered into a quilt show and find out what the judges have to say about what you've done. The Ricky Tim's Convergence quilt, I was entering it into a contest, I believe, through Ricky Tim's. And I don't think I chose vibrant enough colors. It's very well made. I will say that. It's very well made. I'm very proud of what I did on that quilt. But it's not, Jode, I love it. She's like, tell us about the two. Okay, you read my mind. I love it. I love it. Thank you, Jode. You rock me out. That's awesome. But yeah, the Ricky Tim's Convergence, I did that thinking that I was really thinking outside the box. And I invite you to always keep pictures of every quilt you do. Even if you give things away, keep pictures of every quilt that you do, because you will be able to look back at your quilt and see where you were at in your thinking when you put these quilts together. So this Ricky Tim's Convergence quilt I did probably in 2012, maybe 13, maybe 14. It was around then. I know I've had that one done since before Mr. Siberian Wind and I got married. So that one's been done a really long time. And I'm really proud of it. But at the time, I was putting flange binding on every single quilt. So if you see a quilt that I did about that same time frame, 2012 to 2014, maybe 2015, it has a flange binding. I can guarantee you that a quilt of mine is probably going to have a flange binding. Unless it was a gift for somebody, like a baby quilt or something, those I kind of skipped the flange binding on. But anything that was a competition, anything different like that. One that I know that I've sold already was my blue baubles quilt. It was all Northcott fabrics, and it's a wall hanging. I believe I've sold it. I didn't see it when I was moving things, so I believe I've sold it. But it has a flange binding on it. So quite literally, I was putting flange binding on everything. So I know what the judges think about flange binding and what you need to do to make it right, because I didn't know when I got started. So if you need that, I can help with that. Now the other one, this one up top, this one is a magnificent spiral mandala quilt. I took a class from Renee Merrill. She's a fantastic instructor, just very, very focused and very patient. Just an amazing teacher. So if you ever have the chance to take a class from Renee Merrill, please do. Please do. She's amazing. I learned a lot, both about myself and about my thoughts on quilting and piecing from her class. In this quilt, I am not using regular cotton thread. I am using, oh gosh, I think it's called So Fine. I have my spool of thread still. I have not used up the whole spool of thread, but it's a very thin weighted thread. So it's very fine. And I don't want to use it for everything, but it's great if you are doing very small paper piecing because you want those pieces to be able to lay really flat. And it is polyester thread. So don't get me wrong, it's not cotton thread. But this quilt is not going to get a lot of use because it is a wall hanging. Hey, Laura, good to see you. So glad you are here. Welcome, welcome. So the top one is the Magnificent Spiral Mandala. I took that from Renee Merrill, and I cannot tell you if I took the class before Mr. Siberian Wind and I got together or that first April, the last time I got to go to Paducah. I don't remember. But I do have the book, and I believe she autographed my book. So if you need information about the book, you want to learn how to do this, the book does have a lot of information for it. And welcome in, Nanette. I don't know if I saw your name in the chat before, but welcome. Glad you're here. But that entire wall quilt is wedges. You use mirrors, you draw everything, and then you sew wedges together to be able to assemble that quilt. And it's very time consuming, but very rewarding at the same time. Patricia says her long arm came with a spool of So Fine thread. Have not used it yet. No, I haven't. I don't know that it's, I don't think it's SEW fine, like SEW fine or So Fine that way. It might be SO fine. So I'm not sure. Bob says, met Renee at Paducah show, signed up for free motion quilting. She is an amazing instructor, Bob. Absolutely amazing instructor. That's awesome that you got to meet her. I really did enjoy her class. Her and Kimberly Einmo have my biggest and fondest memories from Paducah. I've taken a lot of classes throughout the years. I've taken a lot of national instructors at Paducah, but Renee and Kimberly Einmo, Renee Merrill and Kimberly Einmo were my favorite teachers. Yes, Patricia, that version of So Fine. And I might already have it over here, but I don't know where in the bags it is. So until I can unpack my thread rack, and guys, for those of you who haven't seen my thread rack before, it's been in some of my earlier pictures. My thread rack is actually right here. So you guys will get to see a lot more of that coming up. Behind the thread rack is my cubbies, and my computer is there. And then my long arm is off the wall, or off to the side rather. I may actually move my computer. I'm not sure yet exactly what I want to do, but I am going to make some more changes because I'm not 100% happy with having to run cables everywhere. That one looks like what you might see in a kaleidoscope. Exactly. That's exactly the idea behind it, Susan. That is actually the idea behind it. So I pulled those two out because those were the two wall hanging quilts that I have that normally get stored in my quilt curio. And I have not restocked my quilt curio. So the shelf that you're seeing back here has historically been my bookshelf, and it usually has books, usually has my AccuQuilt dies sitting on it. And I do have a space to have my AccuQuilt set up and keep it set up, but that bookshelf, all my books are still over at the apartment, so nothing is over here yet. But all these quilts that are up there need to go in the quilt curio, or they need to get sold, one or the other. So I figured what I would do tonight for you guys is to go ahead and pull them out, and I will refold them because they haven't been refolded yet. I will refold them, and the ones that are going to be for sale, I'll let you know that they're for sale. And then the ones that are going in the quilt curio, they are not for sale. I will show you those as well. So I figured it was my turn to do show and tell while I had an opportunity to show them all. Okay. So I showed this one last week because I remembered about it. And this one is for sale. This one got started in 2011, I believe, and it was a sampler quilt. And I decided, let me get my chair out of the way again. Here we go. And I am going to get something up so I can just clip things and pull it up. How large is your current sewing studio space? 13.5 feet by 27.5 approximately. I have to leave a walkway in front of the garage door. So you guys are actually seeing this track right there is part of the garage door. So if the garage door opens and my quilts are sitting out, they will get wet if it's raining or such. Hi, Kathy has faith. Welcome in. But yeah, it's like 13.5 feet deep and 27, 28 feet long. So I have my long arm off to this side, and that's taking up almost 8 feet. So my cubbies that you guys can't see, my cubbies are cutting into that 8 feet. So they're not completely this way, but I'm giving myself room on the front side and the back side of the long arm. I do still need to level my long arm. Hi, Diego, welcome in. Hello to you. So I still need to level the long arm, so I can't load anything on it just yet, but we are getting there. We're getting closer. We're getting much closer. So, but this quilt, I started it in 2011, and I was doing it as a class. I was teaching a class, and this was one of my very first designs ever. I designed this quilt, and I used the Bernina quilt software at the time, and I don't know what I was doing. I will fully admit I have no idea what I was doing making this quilt or trying to teach this as a class, but I picked it up back in 2025 when we were still in the first of my studio spaces. Hi, hang on. Let's see. Darvana Lee Design Studios. I do remember your name. Welcome in, Darvana. But this is one of my very first quilts. This one is for sale. It's $175. It is quilted with a loop-de-loop pattern. Let me see if I can show that. If the camera will catch it. Yeah, there we go. It's kind of catching it. So it's got small loops going one direction, big loops going the opposite direction. And a lot of these fabrics, actually, almost all of these fabrics came from Hancock Fabrics. Oh, Nicole. Okay, perfect, Nicole. Thank you. I will try to remember that. I'm working on it. And then the backing on this one is the pink that I got from Joann's. So I know that came from Joann's. But this one's for sale. My original list price on this is $175. So if you are interested in it, send me an email, let me know. Hi, Kentucky Brenda, welcome in. Glad you are here. Welcome. So we're doing show and tell tonight. I'm showing you guys quilts that I have hanging around that either need to go home or just need to be refolded. One or the other. Oh, you answered both. Perfect, Nicole. Thank you. I will try to remember Nicole though. I need to go back in. Let me go back in and increase the size of the chat screen. I'm still a little bit further away, especially standing up. I'm a little bit further away from the chat. There we go. Much bigger. Perfect. All right. So let me grab the next quilt. The next quilt is not for sale. Just got to be clear. All right. Ugh. This one is not for sale. I made this. This is Mr. Siberian Wind's Quilt of Valor. If you have not come to the virtual retreat this weekend, you need to sign up and join the Zoom. Yes. It is just under 24 hours away from ending, but it will start back up. It's not going right now, obviously, because I want everybody here, but it will be going back at 11 p.m. Mountain Time, which we've got 2.5 hours before it goes back live. So this quilt I have to hold up in sections. I cannot hold the whole thing up. I am way too short to do it. This is Mr. Siberian Wind's Quilt of Valor. Each of these stars at the top All the ones at the top represent Air Force years. If you haven't, please hit the thumbs up. Oh, thank you, Pat. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. So the stars at the top represent a year in service. There, he had, hey, Joe. Evening, y'all been lurking. Absolutely, absolutely. So the stars represent a year in service. And throughout the whole quilt, the branch is denoted by the colors of the stars. The flag panel, I'm going to show you guys in just a second. The flags over here on the side represents the states that he served in. So we have Texas and Alabama. There's Louisiana somewhere on here too. A whole bunch of states listed. And then I'm going to show you guys the bottom, and then I'm going to show you the flags. Or show you guys the flag, because I know you want to see the flag up close. And there is Minky on the back of this, guys. It is crazy heavy. And he was once a Marine, always a Marine. So that's why everything is Marine Corps red. Okay, so on the lower half, we've got Marine Corps years in the stars that have the red on it. And then we've got Army years in the stars that have the green on them. Hi, Heather. Welcome in. Hey to you too. So this is the bottom of the quilt, the bottom half of the quilt, rather. And each of these medallions is applique and reverse applique. Laura says, Tammy, that's one of my favorites. You did a spectacular job on it. Thank you. The panel, it's from beginning to end, sewing time was January through July. And I did work on everything else. Oh no, Joe says that she's got a lot of pain tonight. However, it did rain all day. Yeah, rain will absolutely hurt you. Oh, perfect. Delia says, Semper Fi, her father-in-law was a proud Marine. My husband is definitely a proud Marine. But he served in 3 branches. I keep going off camera, not meaning to. So we have an Air Force medallion. We have a Marine Corps medallion. Of course, that has to be centered. And then the Army medallion, which is also rotated. So the Air Force medallion is actually rotated. The Marine Corps is straight, and then the Army is rotated. That was intentional because I'm not trying to copy everything exactly. Hey, Barbara. She says, wonderful design. Thank you. So this was my brainchild. I did think of everything on this quilt. And now for the coup de grace for this quilt. This is part of what makes it so heavy, aside from the fact that there's Minky on the back. It is Marine Corps red Minky on the back of it. It's incredibly soft, but it's incredibly heavy too. So this medallion, and I'm actually going to fold it before I bring it over because it is so heavy. I don't really want to drop it. Really don't want to drop it at all. All right. Let's see if I can get it. There we go. There we go. All right. So yes, absolutely, Diego. Good thinking. Thank your father-in-law for his service. Yeah. Absolutely. Same from me. Same from me. All right. So this is the flag, guys. There are 4,800 squares in this flag. They all start at 1-inch squares. Hey, Gladys. Gladys, welcome in. So yeah, there are 4,800 squares in here. They were all put in there individually. I do have the interfacing. They are glued to interfacing to help me sew them correctly. But they're all 1-inch squares. They finish at 1/2 inch. And that entire flag panel is nothing but 1-inch squares that finish at 1/2 inch. So the panel itself, yes, Nicole, she says, truly labor of love. It really is. And it was a super secret project, Laura. Yes, it was. It was the very, very super secret project. Mr. Siberian Wind could not know anything about what I was doing because I didn't want him to put in things that he wanted or change or anything else, because the last thing I could handle was changing anything in the middle of this quilt. Yeah, 4,800 squares, Heather. You are not joking. Holy moly is right. But that is just the panel inside this quilt. I do have a plan to do a mosaic quilt, queen size mosaic quilt with using 1-inch squares. Yes, I am a little crazy. In case you were wondering, yes, I'm crazy. But it's going to be very similar to this, just this panel, but it's going to be the whole quilt is going to be that. So please keep me in mind if you have scraps that you are not going to use. If you can cut a 1-inch square out of it and it is 100% cotton, send it to me. Okay. So that one is not for sale. Just gotta say, cannot sell that one. Mr. Siberian Wind would get very mad. Very, very mad. All right. So I've got a small one I've been moving. It's not for sale either. This is one of my examples of my early teaching. This is a hot pad. There, if you can actually hear it, I don't know if you can hear that. Inside is some of that reflective stuff on it. So we can actually put this out and put a hot pan on top of it and it doesn't damage it. So this was made for a Christmas thing as well. And that was one of my teaching classes that I did. My father-in-law passed away 4 years ago, but I appreciate the sentiment. Oh, you're so welcome, Delia. So welcome. Pal, could you stop, please? All right, we're going to do it this way. Yep, I knew you were going to stop. All right. Diego says I was going to join the Marines after high school, but the recruiter said it wouldn't be possible because of my medical issue. He called my flat feet. Yes, flat feet is a medical issue when it comes to the military. I think it is Insel Bright, but it might be something heavier duty. I'm not sure. My cousin Greg was a Marine during Vietnam. He unfortunately lost his life in Cambodia. Yeah, it happens. It definitely happens. Yeah, so the issue with flat feet is that when you put those boots on, they are not, flat feet tend to be more easily damaged than feet with arch support. So they don't want you to get in the service and then your feet just completely fall apart on you through everything they've got to put you through. Thanks to all that service and currently serving. Agreed. Very much agreed with that one, Diego. All right, now this is a Stitch in Heaven mystery quilt, New Year's Day mystery quilt. This is the first one I did after moving to Wyoming. And my husband said he wanted a springtime quilt for putting on the wall. The whole quilt is nothing but this. This is the whole quilt. Like, I mean, it goes down. It's on the floor right now, but this is the springtime quilt that was hanging in our apartment before we took it down to move. So this will probably be the one that goes right back up because it already has a hanging sleeve and everything. All the fabrics I bought at Joann's, it's not the colorway that Rob or Tiffany were doing, but it's the colorway I chose. And then I just found some pink and I bound it in some pink floral. So this is one of the wall quilts that if you come to my home, you might see on the wall once he gets back to decorating it. So we'll see how long it takes him to get back to decorating. He's getting there. He's getting closer. Got to finish getting all the stuff over to the apartment or over to the house so that he can really start in on decorating. But this was one of the Stitch in Heaven mysteries. So when you look at the Stitch in Heaven mysteries, they're 100% free. They're hosted on YouTube. And they give you cutting instructions in advance. So you're prepared to sew on New Year's Day. Now you can buy a kit from them in one of their colorways, but I never buy kits. If I don't have to, I don't buy a kit. And I really wanted to go with springtimey colors, not knowing how it was going to play out. And this is one of the first ones that I quilted on my sit-down long arm, and I did a meander, and it is far from accurate. Could you please leave those alone and go settle? Sir, go settle. Thank you. I knocked paper off, and he's wanting to play with it. Prison says, I didn't know that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they may not explain the flat foot issue, but yeah. You're so welcome, Diego. Oh, thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Joe. So this is since I moved to Wyoming. So this is new. That finish was new. A lot of these are actually fairly new, but we're getting there. We're getting there. This one's staying. It's not getting sold yet. Not until I replace it with something else. So that's our springtime quilt. This was not a mystery quilt. Kits are my weakness, says Patricia. I know. I would love to buy kits. I would love to. I just don't have it in the budget. That's what kills me, is the budget. All right, so this is our harvest quilt. And I did this one on my channel. And it is a vertical jelly roll race quilt. And all I did was I took the dark green that you guys see here, cut squares, and added it in between the jelly roll pieces. Now you see a lot of the green, right? I actually cut my jelly roll strips in half, so they are only half the regular length. So they're not the full 45 or 44 or whatever. So the green pieces go all the way to the bottom, but I made this knowing that this was going straight to the wall and nowhere else. I quilted it also with a meander, very loose meander. I just wanted to get it done. And I put brown on the back, but I had strips left over and I didn't have enough brown, but I had a whole section of strips. So all the way from top to bottom, if we wanted to swap this quilt out and put the back out there, we totally could. So the back is also the vertical strips. Diego says that one is funky in a nice, cool way. Thank you. Thank you. Laura says that her weakness is also the kit. She has a few kits because she feels like she ends up with fewer scraps. Yeah, there is that. But I'm very picky about the kits that I actually get. Usually if I get a kit, it's got to be because I see that it would be really hard for me to get all that fabric by myself. My Elizabeth Hartman Fab Farm, where all 4 of those baby quilts have already gone home. Those I did buy a kit. But, you know, I'm glad it's done. Hey, Pam, welcome in. She just got home from her daughter's and put IKEA bed together today. Oh, fantastic. So you know all the little letters, right? The little letters and all the little tools. So this one is also not for sale. Joe says, Tammy, I'll check tomorrow, see if Mill Outlet still has patriotic fabric for $2.50 a yard. They had about 30 designs. Oh, wow. That would be amazing. I'd love to have some. Just saying. Just saying. And I will absolutely send my address in case you guys need that. I have a P.O. box. Yes, they are an online store. Mill Outlet does have an online store. Nicole says, I have so many quilt tops to quilt, but my long arm is always busy quilting for my clients. I'm hoping this quiet season I can get some of my quilts done. So I've had a quiet season of my own on my long arm. I need to get back to it and actually quilting on it. Part of my issue, let me set this down and I'm going to sit for a second. And I'm going to go ahead and grab another stack because these are smaller ones. So part of my issue with quilting for a while is that my downstairs neighbor did not want me quilting past 10 p.m. It didn't matter if I was sewing at my machine like Ricky or if it was my long arm. She didn't care. She just thought it was way too loud because it was vibrating the floor. And it does. It vibrates the floor. My upstairs neighbors are proof of that. So thankfully, we're mostly out of that apartment. We still have a little bit more to go. But I'm going to level my long arm and get to quilting and spend some days quilting out here versus just sewing, piecing, and organizing. That's going to be a priority because I've got so many to quilt. Some of them are quilts of valor, so they definitely need to be quilted yesterday because they still have to be bound and labeled and all of that. But I have a quilt for my great niece that needs to be finished quilting, all of that. Let's see. Joan says you can hang some of the quilts in the room and it might cut down on some of the sound of the big room. It will, but I have sometime at the beginning of June, beginning to middle of June, we're going to get another truck and bring the rest of the stuff from the garage over, and we're going to bring the rest of my stuff over. I still have over half of my yardage is still over at the apartment. Oh no, Nightbot didn't like me. Didn't like Nicole. Let's see. But I need to spend some time actually quilting. But I need to get the rest of my stuff here too. Laura says she buys kits when she's traveling and hit all the quilt shops in the area. They're easier to pack. They are. Love that idea of making quilts on the front and back 2-for-1. It is, Nicole. It is. I don't think so, says Joe. I do know that they have several locations. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, anything patriotic that you want to send me, I'm game. Anything you want to send me, I'm game. Heather says she'll buy kits, but it's hit or miss if I actually use the fabric for that pattern or not. I actually do have a set of kits, and I hate the pattern, so I will not use it for the pattern. But I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. Nicole said, yeah, and the same with quilt kits. The only kits I buy these days are English paper piecing kits with templates, but they are few and far between these days. Yes, they are. I don't know why Nightbot didn't like you. Oh, there was a dot in your comment. Oh my gosh. Where in the world? Oh, posting links. Oh, okay, I see where it's at. Okay, my bad. That's Nightbot. Nightbot got in trouble. Nightbot's in trouble on that one. Okay. Let's see. You mentioned patriotic fabric, Joe. Would be nice to see a few different fabrics. Yeah, there's a lot out there. I can definitely always use some. We have a lot of quilts we need to get done for our veterans, and just no fabric to do them. It's half the time. So yeah. All right. So I do have some for sale. Oh, you're so sweet, Joe. So sweet. So this one is one of the ones that's for sale. I did post pictures of it, and this was on the Christmas in April that I did this year. This was the quilt auction, so this one is still available. It's a table runner. I did not piece it. It's a large table runner. I did not piece it. Someone else did, but I did quilt it, and I put green on the back, a green with shimmery gold in it on the back, and then a dark green for the binding. So I had a lot of fun putting that together. I'm folding it a different way because I saw fold marks in it. So that one's for sale. This one is for sale as well. If you're looking for something patriotic that's small, that's already done. This is a test run of cut and chiseled. So I used patriotic bears, and then I used red and blue fabric. And this was also on that quilt auction, and then here's the back of that one. So I do have that one as well. So if you see something tonight you're interested in, let me know. Send me an email, and we'll discuss it and see what I can do about getting it out to you. Because I need some of this out of my space too. We got some of it out of the space first, but we got some more to go. This one also, I didn't make the quilt top, but I quilted it. So this was done as a round robin. So they started with the panel. One person added the ribbon border. Another person added the yellow border. Somebody else added the floral border. Then somebody added the triangles border. Then somebody added the squares border. And then there's two more borders. I don't know who did what, as we've got a puppy peeking up. And then I put a bright pink on the back. So it's available as well. Nicole says, I love all your quilts, also pretty, and you're very talented. Thank you. Flattery gets you everywhere. Flattery gets you everywhere. I do have one more for sale, I think. The rest are all, no, two more for sale. The rest are all just quilts I'm going to show you guys. So this one and that diamond shape, or the diamond table runner, the larger table runner, were both here. Figure out how to use your long arm. That's how they were handed to me. So I love doing projects like that. I don't need any more at the moment because I got plenty of my own, but we're getting there. All right, this is one of the others for sale. I'm going to grab a different one while I'm up there. This one's for sale. This one is the stitch quilt, and I'm going to show you the back first. The back is all pieced. It's all pieced from the leftovers from the front. Hal, could you stop, please? He keeps trying to pick up the paper. And this is the front of it. And it's a good lap size quilt. But it's kind of hung out with me for a little too long. It's been well loved. But it's time for it to find a new home. So that's why I'm offering it up for sale. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just, it's not my colors. I mean, okay, ignore my design wall when I say that it's not my colors. Just Just ignore my design wall, guys. Just pretend that that did not get said. Oh. So I am, if you notice, I am folding the quilts kind of in thirds. Even if they were folded in half before, I'm folding them in thirds. And that helps reduce some of the creases. Now, when I was working at Bernina, we had a few projects come through where we had some creative license with it. This project, the creative license was to use different fabrics. So the red that you see out here is velvet or velveteen. This quilt, this wall hanging does not wash very well, just going to say that. It's velveteen. The joy word is embroidered, and it is actually upholstery fabric. This plaid is shirting fabric, the plaid silky shirting, or you might use it for a dress. This red is red silk. This black is some kind of black satin. And the snowflakes are organza. So in case you've ever wondered, yes, you can in fact embroider with organza, and it will come out beautifully if you do it right. Let's see if I can figure out where the camera is. There we go. Let's see. There we go. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. So you can see the fabrics behind the snowflakes. And then the beads are hand sewn into place. The fabrics, all the embroidery was done with an embroidery machine, but it is in fact possible to embroider on all kinds of different fabrics. There is batting in here, and this plaid is just what I decided to put on the back, and it is kind of like pillowcase closed with the piping all the way around. So I do need to put a hanging sleeve on the top of this so it actually hangs. But it is very plush. It doesn't lay flat. But this is one of the things that I made back before I really knew what I really wanted to do with quilting. This was just kind of one of those early experiments and following Bernina directions to try it. It's so funny. It's so funny. You ready for summer vacation, Heather? Oh my gosh. Design wall? What design wall? I see nothing. I know, right? I just have a wall back there. It's not a design wall. It's nothing. It's your imagination, right? All right, let me grab the next one up. And this one's going to be a larger one. Some of you may recognize this one. Oh, we're already at 9 o'clock. We're 38 viewers. Guys, make sure you hit that thumbs up, please. I would greatly appreciate it. So I showed you guys that blue and red table runner that was based off of cut and chiseled. Well, here is the actual cut and chiseled. It is very tall. I can barely hold it up high enough to keep it off the floor, okay? It is double wide. So the cut and chisel blocks, if you've never seen it before, cut and chiseled is based off of fat quarters. So you are going to be using literally every piece of your fat quarter to make this. So you needed a certain number of fat quarters. If you go through my playlist, you will see cut and chiseled. And I don't know if I did it all in one lesson or if I did it multiple lessons. Oh, thank you, Pam. She says rent is paid. Thank you. So when I made this, I thought I got enough to do the backing and the front, do all my little fat quarters that I needed, but apparently I didn't. So what I did is I pulled a few random extra fat quarters to do the stripes with, and any leftover poverty piece chisels that I could make out of what I had working is what I did. So on the front, you have, sorry, didn't mean to camera cord and shake it. That was not intentional. So every chisel on the back of the quilt is poverty pieced. So I was using up literally every single scrap that I had from the front. So I was literally sewing it together and making my new fat quarters from it. That's exactly how I did it. So when you get done cutting all of your chisels, anything that you have left over, especially if you have a larger fat quarter, put it back together and make a new fat quarter out of it, and then you can cut more, okay? So this was an extreme exercise in not wasting your fabrics. So this is cut and chiseled. So if you ever hear me talk about it, that is the quilt. It doesn't do a lot as far as teaching. I try to offer it as one of my classes to teach, but it tends to not be super popular. And I think that's just because either you see it and you like it, or you see it and you don't know what to think. It's very pretty, but it's blue. Blue to me is yellow to you. Yeah, you can do it in whatever color. You can do it in whatever color you like. I just decided blues because I needed to get rid of a whole lot of blue fat quarters at the time. And that was what I had the most of. It's also one of the first quilts that I quilted on my now new to me long arm frame. So there's a lot of learning involved in this quilt. It was one of the very first. Laura says she loves it. Thank you. Thank you. I probably need to put a label on it so I know exactly when I taught it first. All right. So two more. I got lots more than this. Don't worry. This is not the end of it. I told you I'm having show and tell, guys. You can't tell everybody else. I'm doing show and tell, okay? I don't get tickets, but I'm doing show and tell. So before I moved to Wyoming, I took and did my first ever Stitch in Heaven New Year's Day mystery. That year, it was New Year's Eve mystery, not New Year's Day. And when I saw the announcement for it and saw that it was free, I'm like, that's exactly what I need. And I'm going to be able to do this right before I pack up my studio to leave, to move. And I really wanted to get back into quilting. I really missed having the space and the time to quilt. And it's kind of always been one of those passion things. So I knew when I moved to Wyoming, quilting is something that I really wanted to hit heavy and get back into. And so I saw this New Year's Day mystery. I was in the middle of packing already. I'd started packing in October, and this is coming up December 31st. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to look through my stash of fabric and see what I have, and we're just going to put something together. Laura says, I love show and tell, or rather show and tell, right? Right? So this is our wall hanging quilt for Christmas. And it very much gives peppermint vibes. Sorry about the camera flashing. I've got to figure out why it's doing that. But it gives out peppermint vibes. And it is Christmas fabrics thrown in with solids and polka dots and stripes and all of that. So this is our Christmas one. This was the first Stitch in Heaven mystery that I did. And it kind of got me hooked because it's like, if I can do that, even if my points aren't perfect, it looks gorgeous. If you look really closely, my points are way off, okay? They are not even close to being on. But I was really proud of myself for doing that one. So I'm going to show you up close some of the fabrics. So we've got the stripes in the border, and these stripes really do mess with my eyes. Really mess with my eyes. Pam says she loves the pinwheels. Thank you. That was part of the pattern. So I did peppermint pieces for the white. So the white isn't actually white, it's peppermint pieces. The red is red with white polka dots. And then the quilting design that I did throughout the majority of the center of the quilt is Christmas themed embroidery designs. So let's see if I can get the camera to pull one up. There we go. The bell right inside of the red right there. You can see the poinsettia, probably with the hourglass. Let's see. And I literally looked through all of my embroidery designs looking for a Christmas theme pack of designs to use. So let's see, we've got what do we have in there? We have reindeer right there. Oh, Annette, welcome in. I don't see Annette's name in here, but Joe's saying hi to Annette. So Annette, if you're here, welcome in. There's a bow. There's Santa Claus's face. I don't know how well you can see him. Santa Claus's face. So I embroidered Christmas in this quilt just so that it would look good. And I did make a smart decision. I put white on the back, white on white, that does have holly and ivy look to it. And I did that because I knew if I put anything different and you could really see the quilting, that I'd have issues. So all around the center of the quilt are those very loose designs, those very loose quilting designs I did on the embroidery machine. And then my embroidery machine can also do micro stipple quilting designs. You guys can see just how tiny that is based off of my finger. So I did that the whole way around the outside edge. So from this red all the way out to the stripes, through the stripes, is like that. So I put a lot of time at the embroidery machine in on this. And that's been in and out lurking since the beginning. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. All right. So that's the Christmas one. You guys have seen the spring and fall. That's Christmas. Those are the only 3 I've got. So I have got to make a 4th of July and Memorial Day and Veterans Day. So I've got to make a patriotic one. I don't have a Valentine's Day. I don't have a winter that's not Christmas. So we got some work to do. I do have some Halloween quilts that need to be quilted, and once they're quilted, one will stay in here and one will go in the house, for decoration, etc. The first quilt that I made, Mr. Siberian Wind. That's what this is. I participated in a block swap with a whole bunch of people from across the country, and I sent in 105 blocks and got 104 back. So some of these blocks I didn't make, and some of them I did. I do have Halloween quilts, Pam. I just don't have them quilted. I have got to get them quilted. So I made this as a quilt of valor for Tom before I knew that you had to register a quilt of valor. So this was his first ever quilt of valor, but it's not correct sized, and it wasn't awarded through the Quilt of Valor system. And it now has puppy dog chewing on it right here. Pretty severe puppy dog chew tear from when Paladin was little. So it doesn't get used a lot. Actually doesn't really get used at all anymore. But I made this for Tom before we got married. So this was when he was, we were just dating. And I went ahead and made this and gave it to him. And we were only dating from October to January. That's all we were dating. We did not date very long, but I made this for him while we were dating because I wanted to show him how much I appreciated his military service. So he might have married me because I made him a quilt. I don't know. But at any rate, it's never been repaired. I haven't bothered repairing it. And it's probably softer than his other quilt is just because it's lighter weight. But I think until I repair the puppy dog chews, he's probably not going to want to use it. Susan, was that her sewing machine? What type of embroidery machine? I have a Bernina 770. It's actually on my long arm frame right now, but when it comes off, I have an embroidery unit that I can use with it. So it's a beast. It's a beast. It's not like the largest embroidery machine out there. It's not multi-needle or anything. But it can do pretty much anything I put it to. I can embroider on and through probably just about anything. I know how to. It's just a matter of patience to do it. Oh, good night, Kathy. She says she's falling asleep. Love your quilts, and we'll check them out again on replay. Perfect. Good night, Kathy. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much. All right, now this one is also for sale, guys. And yes, I'm holding it up sideways because I don't want to drop it on the floor. This is the Tree of Life chestnut colorway. So this one is one that I've put together, and the green is the backing for that quilt. Sorry. I also curved the corners So they are very rounded. They're not square at all. All four of the corners are curved like that, which makes it a super comfy quilt. The only fabric that was not cut and cuts is this green backing that I put on it. Thank you, Dawn. And she says, it's beautiful. Well, it's for sale. So if you are interested, let me know. Send me an email and we will discuss. I do not mind sending home any of the quilts that are for sale because that's the whole reason I have them for sale. That is the whole reason. All right. I'm down to the last step. All right. Let's see. Okay. We're going to put them over here so I don't have to go all the way over. You guys might recognize this. This is my header over at the Siberian Wind Facebook group. This is my tumbling blocks quilt. And I'm only going to unfold it half of the way and I'll flip it to show the other half. Both halves are basically the same. So this is the bottom half. And this is the top half. Obviously it's upside down. And then I bound it with a dark blue, but I backed it with purple. I knew this quilt was going to stay mine. This one, a late friend of mine named Cassandra cut out all the pieces and parts. And Cassandra had multiple sclerosis. And I use had because she's no longer with us. She, I believe, was a victim in the circumstances of how she passed. Laura says she remembers the first time I showed this quilt. She absolutely loves it. Thank you. Thank you. This is like my all-time favorite. Like if I need a quilt and I don't have one, this is the one you bring me. Like this is that quilt. I need to fix the doggy chews because he did get a hold of this one too. But I made this one. Cassandra had cut out all of the tumbling block pieces. Laura, are you on Messenger? Asks Joe. Cassandra had cut out all the tumbling block pieces for the center of the quilt, and she was planning to make this a king-size quilt. When she realized that it was Y seams, she realized she wasn't willing to do that. She wasn't really up for the challenge of doing all of the Y seams. So she's like, do you like the colors? I said, yes, they're absolutely fine. I love the colors. And she's like, well, fine, here. And she just handed me everything. She handed me the pattern. She handed me the pre-cut fabric that she'd already cut. And she didn't hand me anything extra. It was just what she already cut, plus the pattern with the templates and all of that. I hate template cutting, and I think she despised it too. But she passed away in 2021, and she passed away on July 4th. And I didn't know until a few days later that she had passed away. And I started putting this quilt together after moving to Wyoming. I decided that I needed to finish this quilt, that I needed to do this quilt, because I needed to figure out in my own head how I was going to cope with what happened to her. And I cried a lot assembling this quilt. It was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, just getting the heart work done to put this quilt together. So this is a memory quilt of her for me, but it also, she was one of my proudest supporters. Before I became a major name in quilting, she met me because I sold Bernina machines. That's actually where she was she was buying a Bernina machine, or she had Bernina and she wanted to buy Bernina products. So she came and started shopping at my store. Her service dog absolutely loved me, and my service dog ended up loving her dog. So the two of them got along famously, and I would go over and hang out and spend all day talking and really learning a lot from her. And I can't see this quilt without thinking about that. So thinking about all the time I spent with her and just who she was as a person and she wasn't a perfect person, but what she did for me and for my mental health was something that I could never repay. So it's really kind of one of those very meaningful quilts for that reason. Diego says, oh, okay, I like the embroidery machines that you typically see in a commercial setting. Oh, like Beriden, Tajima, Rikoma. Yes, Happy Japan. Yeah. Now, Bernina actually owned Happy, or they might still own Happy, but I knew that they bought Happy at one point. Joe says, it's a beautiful and meaningful quilt. Thank you. Thank you. Susan says, it's a beautiful quilt. Thank you. I love this quilt. This is the one that, I mean, I've made a couple of others that are meaningful to me, but there's none that somebody else has touched too in that way. So I've got my Elizabeth Hartman Star Systems quilt that is for me. And I have Echoes, which is another pattern. Cassandra and I talked about Echoes, and I think she actually gave me the pattern for Echoes. And I finally have that quilt top together, and I need to still quilt it, but I've got to find a backing for that. But that one's going to take me some time to quilt because I'm going to have to work through just how I want to see that quilt. Thank you, Cynthia. She says, beautiful story. Thank you. So that's this quilt. All right. I want to set this where I don't knock things over because I'm getting back to that stuff tomorrow when I have brain power. All right. This one is a wall hanging, and I made this back when I was working for Bernina. It is my soul quilt, Pam. It absolutely is. And of course it has puppy dog chew points in it because Paladin got a hold of it. Because why not? Why would I not have a quilt for myself with meaning without puppy dog chew points? So this quilt is a Christmas tree. It is quite literally a Christmas tree. I used to keep a wooden dowel in the top of this, but it doesn't work very well for moving. So I've got to find the dowel and what happened to it. Because it just kind of sags in the center if you don't have the dowel in place. So I don't remember exactly where I got started with this one. Maybe this was another Bernina quilt software plan. But a lot of these fabrics came from my late grandmother. So I actually chose some fabric that looks like wallpaper to me to put as the wallpaper of the room. And then the starry fabric, I love that for the window, and I figured it'd work great for the border, but it was perfect for the window. And I actually I hope it can focus. Oh my gosh. I wish I could focus on this, guys. This piping that's in here, this little rope piping, is red and white checkerboard. Let's see. And then I put buttons at each of the points, both to hide how imperfect my points were, but also so I could decorate the tree. So I did little stud crystals. They're buttons. They're sewn on like buttons. Pam says she loves the trains at the bottom. Right, I'm about to get to that one too. And this is actually the second rendition of the lights that's on here. The original lights that I put on here, they're little buttons, but the original lights that I put on here broke apart and fell apart. So I had to redo the light string once. And then the trains, it was actually another one of my late grandmother's fabrics. So I had to put the trains on there. And I think I was doing the jewels because I always had a tinsel on the tree growing up. So I had to do the sparkle. It had to have sparkle and lights on it. So this is a little wall hanging. So it does go up at Christmas sometimes. I don't remember the last time I saw it up for Christmas, but it does go up at Christmas for sometimes. And I did do some gold braid down here at the bottom as well to highlight, around the trains at the bottom of the tree. And what's really funny is that I married Mr. Siberian Wind, and he absolutely loves trains. So putting a train around the Christmas tree at the bottom, oh, he loves that idea. He loves that idea. All right. So I did 2 other quilts while I worked for Bernina that were Christmas quilts, other than the train. The train was, I think, maybe the second year, maybe it was the first, I don't remember. But I did the train. And this one was an embroidery design pack from OESD. And the quilt design was something that Bernina also sent out. So it's a very simple square and a square, or courthouse square, I believe. I don't remember what it's called. But this is an angel. There's bells. There's ornaments. There's a Christmas tree. This center medallion was supposed to say Merry Christmas with the year in there, and I took the year out. I said I didn't want it to say a year because I wanted to be able to use it year after year after year. There's snowflakes and more ornaments and a dove and poinsettia. So this quilt is very pastel, and it's really before I knew what I was doing because this is purchased binding. This is that prepackaged bias binding that you can buy, the Dritz bias binding. So it's prepackaged. So this is the crappiest binding in the world as far as what I'm concerned with. But this was a wall hanging quilt. I've used pins to pin it to the wall before. But I think I want to put a hanging sleeve on it soon so it can be used through an actual hanging sleeve coming up. Laura says she's a sucker for anything Christmas, right? And Pam is too. Janet says she loves those designs. They are an OESD design pack. I don't remember the year. It's either 2011 or 2012. I want to say that this one was 2011. Would be my guess. Now that Merry Christmas in the center took more than one hooping. And one of the things that this design pack was supposed to do, and I never did it with this, is all of these little leaves, you're supposed to take a razor and just cut the top layer of thread and it'll become fuzzy. I didn't like that idea, so I didn't do it. So you can always make something yours. This one was the other Christmas one. And I'm going to show you the back first because it's pieced back. It was one of my first pieced backs, guys. First pieced back. And before I show you the front, I'm going to go ahead and tell you that there's some fabric bleed over. There's some distortion and all of that in this. These fabrics ended up becoming very cheap. But I really like the colors in this better than the pastels in the other quilt. But again, another OESD design pack. This one was all blacks and whites. And you had some black that was applique, like the sleigh and the bird down there in Noel was applique. This tree in the center is applique. I have not tried to get the stains out of this quilt yet from where the fabric bled over. But if I can get the fabric bleed over out, this one will also go up on display at Christmas time. So I do love the design packs that have the different size designs in them because it just gives you a lot of options of what you can do. So this was a pattern. I don't remember what the pattern is, but this was a multi-hooping in the center as well. Laura says, "Here I'm with you. I like it the way it is." Thank you. Pam, says, "Laura, I have one large tote and another stack of Christmas. I think I have made 4 Christmas quilts for me." Oh gosh, I literally have yards and yards of Christmas. Oh yeah. Thank you, Janet, because she said she loves these designs. Thank you. I really had fun making these, but I can show you all the imperfections in this quilt, and I know you won't think anything less of it, but I've learned so much throughout the years from having done quilts for myself and done quilts for a store and done quilts for other people. I've learned so much about what you should and shouldn't do that I've picked up a lot of tips and tricks. All right. Now this last one, this is the last one, and then we're going to call it quits anyway, because I want to give myself a little bit more time to get ready for coming back in. This is not one that I made. This is an antique quilt that I was gifted. And I call this one the creamsicle quilt. I don't have any idea why it might be creamsicle. Do you? You're making me want to actually use my embroidery machine. I know, Pam. Every time I pull those out, I want to use my embroidery machine. So totally want to use it. Because I look at it and I'm going, I wish I had a different machine for the frame or a different embroidery machine that I could be off the frame so that I could embroider all the time. So this is still folded in fourths, guys. This quilt is fairly large. And we are going to remake this quilt. So I'm going to draft it up. And this will be a quilt that we remake at some point. A 2-color quilt based off of an antique quilt. I believe that the pieces were potentially machine sewn. But the quilt itself is hand quilted. Heather says, no clue why it's called creamsicle, right? I love creamsicle, says Cynthia, right? So yeah, the entire quilt is nothing but orange and white, or it was white before it was heavily used. And you can't really see the age of it from that. But I do think I want to get it appraised maybe to kind of have an idea. But you guys, I mean, hand quilted the whole way, and it's been well used and well loved. But this is a quilt that I want to potentially remake. So I want to make it in different colors. Not that I don't like the orange, because I do love the orange. I actually fell in love with it the first time I saw it. And then I was handed it and they're like, here, you have it. I'm like, oh, okay. Thank you. Very, very thank you. Very much thank you. But I want to have one that I feel like I want to use because I want to take care of this one. And I don't want puppy dog chews on this one. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. Oh, Laura has at least 4 totes of Christmas. Oh my gosh. Oh, Joe didn't realize how much Christmas she had until she gathered it up a couple years ago. So when I decided to do Yuletide Sampler 2 with Kathy and Alicia, I really had no idea whether or not I had enough Christmas fabric to even do that quilt in Christmas. And I pulled out all of my Christmas, literally all of it. And I might have been able to swing it just barely. But I had Christmas from so many different lines and so many different avenues that it was going to look like more than just a hot mess. So I decided to go with Halloween because I have plenty of Halloween. I can always find Halloween. I might actually be running a little low on Halloween now. So if you have Halloween fabric and you want to de-stash, you're more than welcome to send that to me too. I will gladly take Halloween fabric off your hands in addition to whatever fabric that you might want to send me. But that is every quilt that is either for sale or goes in my quilt curio. And so that wooden curio back there is where the quilts are going to go. It does not go all the way to the ground, so it is not that tall. I mean, it's about 4.5 feet tall, something like that, and it doesn't go all the way to the ground. So the ones that I keep, I have to refold to be smaller so that they all fit. But yeah. Oh, Heather doesn't share her Halloween. That's okay. I am with you. I don't share my Halloween much either. I have 2 Halloween quilts to quilt. One is Halloween Town. It is still sitting there waiting to be quilted. And the other one is what was it? What's it called? It was a quilt along that I did, but I can't think of the name of it. Cannot think of the name of it. But I don't have a Halloween size or a bed-sized Halloween quilt yet. So that is kind of what I'm thinking I'm going to do with Yuletide Sampler 2. Is that's going to become my bed-sized Halloween quilt. We do have 2 quilts in the house. One of those is Tom's quilt that I made for him. I bought a kit and it was laser cut, thank goodness, because that would have been a beast. I didn't know what I was doing when I got that one. If it had not been laser cut, it would still not be together. But that quilt, I got it quilted. I paid to have it quilted and got it bound and gave it to him for a Christmas gift. The other quilt is kind of like an I Spy quilt. So it's got a whole bunch of 5-inch charm squares that are different fabrics. There's Easter, there's Christmas, there's teapots, there's Noah's Ark. There's all kinds of fabrics in there. And I sashed it with black, backed it with black, and I quilted it very loosely when I really didn't know what I was doing to quilt it. So the quilting is coming out of that quilt, and I might have to redo it. But it is an oversized queen or a small king. And so it hangs out on our bed most of the time. Laura says, hey, thank you for sharing all of your quilts. Your sew and tell was wonderful, and I thoroughly enjoyed every minute. You are so very welcome. Joe says, thank you, Tammy, for sharing. You're so welcome. Yes, Janet, great question. Laura, will you be on the retreat tomorrow? Please, please, please. Katie Kraft says, fun, cool show. Thank you, Chris. Thank you. And Pam agrees with Laura. Yeah. Thank you so much, you guys. I'm glad I get to show all of that to you, because most of the time all of this is out of reach, or it's oh, good deal, Chris. She says the pot roast came out perfect, full tummies. Oh my gosh. So most of this is usually out of reach, or it's put away, and I don't get the opportunity to really pull it out without a lot of extra help or effort to do so. So this time I was able to do that without the extra effort and time or the extra energy. So it was perfect for that. Oh, thank you, Cynthia. She says she enjoyed it. I understand, Laura. She says she'd love to be on the retreat, but she has family obligations right now. That's okay. I totally get that. So in an hour and a half, I'm going to be back in here and I'm going to start the retreat back up. So don't click on anything until I get back in here in about an hour and a half. You're so welcome, Susan. She says, nice to see all of your quilts, Tammy. Thank you. So I'm going to go hang out with Mr. Siberian Wind for about an hour and a half and come back and then get you guys going. And I'll hang out for about an hour before I have to probably call it a night myself. And I'll probably be putting the quilts away during the first part of that, but that's okay. So we're going to run till 4 p.m. Mountain Time tomorrow. So at 4 p.m. I turn it into a pumpkin and you guys are all on your own. So that's what we're going to do. Oh, thank you, Diego. And thank you, Don. Yes, absolutely. See you tomorrow. Perfect. So guys, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. If you want to be on the retreat and you have not gotten the email or you did not sign up, go ahead and send me an email. Let me know. Absolutely, Rita. She's going to see me tomorrow. I'm so glad to see you again. So I will see you guys in about an hour and a half, or if you are coming tomorrow, you're not coming in right now, I will see you guys tomorrow. And thank you so much for being here. Have a great evening. If you've not petted some fabric already today, go pet some fabric. Go put needle and thread of fabric. Go get that serotonin hit, that dopamine boost. You know you want it. And until I see you